The Vorthak hunting pack had stalked their prey across 3 star systems, their sleek black ships cutting through the void like knives through silk. They were apex predators of the galaxy, 8-foot-tall reptilian killers with razor claws, enhanced reflexes, and hunting instincts honed over millions of years of evolution. Their species had conquered dozens of worlds, turning entire civilizations into their personal hunting preserves. But this prey was different. This prey was human. Commander Zethkar flexed his talons as he studied the tactical display aboard his flagship. The small transport vessel they'd been pursuing had finally been forced down onto Kepler 442c, a barren world of jagged mountains and crimson dust. The human's ship lay crippled in a narrow canyon, smoke rising from its engines like a funeral pyre. "The legends say they're dangerous," his Lieutenant Vextar hissed, mandibles clicking nervously. "Perhaps we should simply orbital bombard." "Legends," Zethkar spat, his yellow eyes gleaming with predatory hunger. "Primitive mammals telling stories to make themselves seem threatening. I've seen the humans in the slave markets, soft, weak, pathetic creatures. This one will make a fine trophy." The pack descended on the planet's surface like falling stars, their assault pods screaming through the thin atmosphere. 20 of the galaxy's most feared hunters, armed with plasma weaponry and millennia of killing experience, converged on the canyon where their quarry waited. They found the human sitting calmly on a boulder outside his crashed ship, apparently unarmed. He was unremarkable by Vorthak standards, barely 6 feet tall, no natural weapons, no armor plating. Just pale skin, dark hair, and strange blue eyes that seemed to hold depths they couldn't fathom. "Surrender, human," Zethkar growled, his translator rendering the words in the primitive earth tongue. "You will die regardless, but I may grant you a swift death if you amuse us." The human looked up slowly, and for a moment, something flickered behind those blue eyes, something ancient and terrible and utterly without mercy. Then he smiled, and somehow that simple expression made several of the younger hunters step backward. "You know," the human said conversationally, "I've been running from you for 3 days now. Do you want to know why?" "Because you are prey," Vextar snarled. "Because you are weak. Because I was trying to protect you." The human stood, brushing dust from his simple clothing. "You see, there's something you should understand about humans. We're not the apex predators of our world. We never were." The Vorthak exchanged glances, confused. Their intelligence reports were clear. Humans were soft herbivores who had somehow stumbled into space travel. "Our world has creatures that make you look like house pets," the human continued. 20-foot crocodiles, sharks that can bite through steel, bears that can decapitate a man with one swipe, snakes whose venom can kill an elephant in minutes. And do you know what we did to them?" The human's smile widened, and suddenly the temperature in the canyon seemed to drop. "We hunted them to extinction. We turned the king of beasts into a trophy on our wall. We looked at creatures that had ruled Earth for millions of years, and we decided they were in our way. So we removed them." Zethkar felt a chill run down his spine, but he shook it off. Words were just words. "Enough talk. Kill him!" The first hunter leaped forward with a roar, claws extended. The human moved, not with the desperate flailing of prey, but with calculated precision. He sidestepped the attack, grabbed the hunter's wrist, and twisted. The crack of breaking bone echoed through the canyon, followed by a scream that cut off abruptly as the human's elbow struck the hunter's throat. 2 more attacked simultaneously. The human dropped low, sweeping one's legs while his hand shot out to crush the other's windpipe. As more hunters closed in, he rolled backward, coming up with the fallen warrior's plasma rifle. What happened next would haunt the survivors' dreams for the rest of their lives. The human didn't spray fire wildly like desperate prey. Instead, he moved through their ranks like death itself, each shot precisely placed, each movement economical and deadly. He used the terrain, the shadows, even their own fallen comrades as weapons and shields. But it wasn't just his skill that terrified them. It was his expression. No fear, no desperation, no mercy. Just cold, calculating efficiency as he systematically dismantled the most feared hunting pack in the galaxy. When the rifle's charge was depleted, he discarded it and continued with blade and fist and anything else he could find. A Vorthak warrior who had killed 100 enemies found himself choking on his own blood as the human used his own claws against him. In 12 minutes, 19 of the galaxy's most feared predators lay dead or dying in the crimson dust. Zethkar, wounded and alone, stared at the human who stood among the carnage without even breathing hard. What are you?" The human looked down at him with those terrible blue eyes, and when he spoke, his voice carried the weight of a species that had clawed its way from the bottom of the food chain to the top of the galaxy through pure, relentless determination. "I'm what happens when prey decides to stop running," he said quietly. "I'm what happens when the hunted becomes the hunter. I'm what your species will be when we're done with you." He paused, tilting his head as distant engine sounds echoed through the canyon. Human ships, coming to collect their wayward citizen. "You see, the thing about humans is this. We're not particularly strong or fast or tough, but we're patient, we're stubborn, and we never ever forgive." He smiled that terrible smile again. "Your pack just declared war on a species that turned warfare into an art form before we ever left our homeworld. Congratulations." As the rescue ships landed and armed humans poured out, Zethkar understood with crystalline clarity why his species whispered about humans in the dark spaces between stars. Why even the most hardened warriors spoke of them in hushed, fearful tones. They weren't legends. They were warnings. And now it was too late to heed them.